Buenos dias, Gunners Collective TV. Back at it, you already know. Like, you know what? Like this, or like that, or like this and like that, and welcome back to Gunners Collective TV. We already know we're about to get it in, but before we get it in, let's hit that like and subscribe button. Ding! Put your notification bell on all so that way you're directed in the direction of the dope content that I'm kicking. And I appreciate all the support. Thank you. So it's official. It's official like a referee's whistle. Hey, meth, amphetamines, right, is what Lefty Gunplay cheeked. It's what he decided to take into a facility, allegedly, right? I guess they weren't lying when they said methy butt play. I thought it was all jokes and shenanigans, but it really was, if you really think about it, right? Unfortunately, he finds himself facing charges in the Texas system. And, you know, I woke up this morning about 5 in the morning and I happened to see, you know, the newscast, which I made a short out of it and whatever. It's up there on my channel. You can trip out on it. You know, Lefty Gunplay with methamphetamine, man. Who would ever thunk it? I mean, he always says, hey, I'm high and this and that. And you laugh about it. You laugh with him like, yeah, right, man. And there's been so many people that have covered for him. They're like, that's just the way he moves. He has ADHD. That's the way he acts. He was raised different. He was dropped on his head a couple times when he was a baby. Like all kinds of different excuses. But there's no excuses. The Vault's on dope. And unfortunately, you know, it's going to be his downfall. And this right here, these charges that he picked up, you know, it's hard to, it's all over the place. There's been some people from Texas that are telling me, hey, it's a slap on the wrist. There's some people like, oh, no, he's going to prison, right? So I wanted to talk about what if. This is the what if Lefty does go to prison. Now, there's a lot of theories out there. From what I'm hearing from some channels, that if he goes to prison, Lefty will be placed with the SPMer, right? Because he is famous, lightweight famous, I guess, they put all the famous people in one facility. So he'll be over there with SPM. The funny thing is, I never heard this before when it was just SPM and other people. All of a sudden, now that it's Lefty Gunplay, it's like, oh, he's going to be placed in a special facility. Kind of like high power in LA County Jail. They put certain people with certain crimes and certain people that got celebrity in a different area away from general population. They're still GP guys, but they're away from the general population modules and shit like that. You know, I know in my area, we're a smaller city. You get caught up, I don't give a fuck if you're famous. You were the Merced Sun Star because you baked the best loaf of bread, you know, and you won the fucking pageant at the fair. No one cares. Your ass is going to be right there on the block if you're a functioning homie with the rest of them. Or you're going to be in Sandy Mush wearing a banana suit in the bubble. It just depends on where they decide to put you. Now, with Lefty Gunplay, I don't think he's a punk. I think he's solid, man. I think he might be on dope. I mean, the proof is in the asshole, the pudding, right? But I think if he does go to the Texas Department of Corrections, the TDC, he's going to have issues, man. He's going to have issues, and it doesn't matter where they place him. And I'm going to explain to you why. So, according to everybody, Lefty Gunplay is GP. Okay, he's what you would call someone who's going to go to the mainline, the general population. Now, that's fine and dandy in California if you're a functioning, active gang member or just a regular person with good charges. Yeah, you can go try GP out. See what that's all about for you, right? It might work out for you. It might not. It just depends on where they put you and the time of day it is and who's all there, right? Now, at the end of the day, it's totally up to you. See, you don't let time do you. You do time. So no matter where they place you, you have a decision to make. You know, I've had to make those decisions before on numerous occasions. A couple stand out to me more than the rest. When they place you somewhere that you have decided, hey, I'm not supposed to be here, man, you don't tell the cops, hey, you can't put me there. My enemigos are there. Hey, you can't put me over there. Those are Northerners or those are Southerners. That's not allowed because when that goes on your paperwork that you refuse entry into a certain place, you're going to get smashed on. You're no longer going to be GP because you punked out. You went out like a sucker, right? So your only option is to get wherever you're at and get off where you're mad at. Handle your business, get a target. Hey, it is what it is, man, unfortunately. Now, of course, most people are going to pick the weakest target that they can find. Just it's human nature. Like, they're not going to fucking challenge a fucking big old fucking black dude with fucking horns growing out of his head. It ain't going to happen. they're going to find the little white guy walking. Why has he got to be white? Going, well, I don't know what he is white today, right? He's walking with his little cantina. Tas, you get off where you're mad at. Or you pick someone from your direct group that's in bad standings and you handle it if you're going to be there that long. Now, with Lefty Gunplay, if he goes to the Texas Department of Corrections, from what I hear, it's pretty unfortunate for Southsiders, especially Southsiders from California. Okay, now I've never been there, so I can't tell you the truth, man. You guys could probably go to Tim Snow. He's the guru when it comes to Texas prison system because he's been there. And there's other guys that will tell you about the Texas system. But from what I hear, the area where Lefty got arrested in the county jail, right? He's not going to do no county time. I think he'll go to prison, if anything, a few years, couple years. So he'll bypass that county. And that county, man, El Paso's different from everywhere else in Texas, man. So they got their own little shit going on. They're closer to LA than they're closer to Houston and Dallas. Let's just put it like that, right? I know it's ran by the Barrio Aztecas and different groups. So Lefty would either be embraced and showed love or he wouldn't be if he was in the county. But let's bypass county. He's going to go to prison, right? And everyone knows in the Texas Department of Corrections, there's one dominant group there. See, there used to be several, and I'm going to explain some of the history to you that I know. You guys that are from Tango can correct me if I'm wrong. But the Tango Blast, are a group that controls the majority of the Texas system. Now, of course, you have Crips and Bloods and Homegrown Brothers, man, from Texas. And, of course, you have all these little different gangs. I know the Tri-City Bombers and all these were different groups that formed Tango or became a part of Tango. But once upon a time, a long time ago, there was two dominant groups. And one of them was the Texas Syndicate. And they were started originally in California by guys from Texas. And then it went out there to Texas and they blew up in the system. And there was a lot of them. And they were considered the who's who of who the fuck you don't want to be around, right? Because they were them guys back in the, I'd say, 80s and 90s. And they started little by little to, disappear. Their philosophies, the things that they were pushing started to disappear off the main lines. There was other groups that were in force making play, right? So you don't really hear about the Texas Syndicate too much. I remember when I was young, my dad had homeboys from the Texas Syndicate that would come to the pad and stuff. I was a little kid. I didn't know. I thought they were all fucking crazy hair Mexicans from Texas. But that was just the group they were from. Well, there was another group called the Texas Mexican Mafia, right? And they are separate from the California organization. So their philosophies and what they do is based upon their own shit. And they are at guerra. They are at war with the Tango Blast, a group that was created because of oppression and a group that basically said, you know what, we're not going to fucking take any more criticisms or any more, you're not going to call cuetes on us. You're not going to tell us what to do. The TSs and the Texas Mexican Mafia. So they decided to do what they wanted to do. The Tango Blast, and they were formed. Now there's different tangos. There's Tango Orejones in San Antonio. There's tangos in Houston and Dallas and Fort Worth and Corpus Christi. I mean, all these different places have different tangos. But when they're in prison, they're all Tango Blasts, right? Or the majority of them. I know Orejones have their own little thing going, and they're from San Antonio. These guys, from what I'm hearing, they go at it with the Southsiders because the Southsiders are under the mob's umbrella, right? So being that Lefty Gunplay is a Southsider, if he goes into the Texas Department of Corrections, the dominant group, the majority on every yard is going to be Tango Blast. He might become a target. He might become a high priority target or someone that they're not going to let function. So it's going to be a lot of fighting, a lot of bullshit in Lefty Gunplay's future if he goes to Texas system. His celebrity and all that, it's not going to get him far because ultimately, besides all that, he's a Southerner, allegedly a Southsider, right? A camarada or whatever he is, he claims to be. And because he functions with the group that is not really allowed to be on the main line as far as, Tango is concerned. I've seen documentaries. I've talked to fools from Tango. I've seen things on YouTube where it seems like anytime a Southsider or anyone that's part of that organization over there in Texas, the mob, come onto the main lines, they're immediately taken off on by Tangos. Tangos don't allow them to walk. Now, the Tango Blast remind me of the Fresno Bulldogs. Let me explain to you why, right? The Bulldogs are a group that's kind of like on some renegade shit. They don't have one leader. They have people in leadership roles, people that they go to, old school homeboys, big homies that they listen to as far as giving them game. But ultimately, they can make their own decisions. And that's how, the Bulldogs are ran. There's not very many of them in the state of California when you consider just one city or one county and dogs from different little places against everyone else, north and south. They're always going to be the minority, right? But they're down to handle their business. and they stand on their own when it comes to, you know, the Mexican groups within the California system. So with that, you know, the Bulldogs accumulate numbers because there's a lot of people that don't like to be told what to do. They don't like to listen to any authority figures or anyone telling them shit. So there was a lot of dogs. You know, I've seen dogs from Stockton, Merced, Modesto, Madera. It's a trip. But I've seen dogs even from some southern places that'll trip you out, right? More like Bakersfield. I've seen Bakersfield dogs and all that while in the system. And these guys just decide to click up with the Fresno Bulldogs because there's more going on with the Bulldogs that they adhere to or they like rather than listening to someone over on the north and south side, right? So Tango Blast reminds me of a group that, because they went against the grain, they didn't want to listen to anyone telling them what to do or the oppression or be oppressed by these certain groups, these organizations. They struck out on their own and they blew up, you know. And there's a lot of them. You know, they have a saying, if you ain't blasting, you ain't lasting, homie. And you know, Tangos, they just remind me of a mix between a Bulldog and a Northerner. It's a trip. And like I said, they go at it with Southsiders there. Not all the time, but most of the time, right? And so I don't see Lefty Gunplay having a comfortable ride if he goes to the Texas system. I see it being a place where he's going to have to conform to his reality of being where he's at. You know, I've done time in different states, and it's different. You know, in California, it's pretty basic and straight up. A lot of people say California is very political, man. It's all fucked up. And it is. It's racial. It's political. You got to stick with your own kind, your own people, your own gente. But it's pretty cut and dry, homes. You're going to function with your people and handle your business and listen to and follow the politics you're supposed to, or you're going to get whacked. There it is. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. Maybe, just maybe, you might get a little chequeada, or you might have to do some cleanup if you're lucky. But nowadays, motherfuckers ain't playing. If you go against the grain, you get the grain fucking grained against you. And that's it. That's how it is. Now, the Texas system, I'm sure, is a little bit different. From what I hear, there's heart-checking things going on. People don't take too kindly to people from different states. Now, that doesn't mean just because you're from California, you're going to get ran up on and beat up and jumped just because. But you're definitely going to get heart-checked and tested. You know, with Lefty Gunplay being in the position that he's in and being the rapper he is and being the world's most famous gangbanger, there's going to be people that want to test that. There's definitely going to be people that want to test that. Now, if he is taken to over there where SPM is, and I don't know exactly where SPM is housed. I'm sure it's a protective custody type facility. But from what I'm hearing is because Lefty is famous, he'll go with SPM. Maybe not sell it with them, of course, because he has a bad case. I'm sure Lefty's not going to do that. He ain't no sucker, no punk. He knows what time it is, right? You do that, it's already, you're done. But, you know, ultimately, it's going to be up to Lefty to make that decision to get off or not. You know, he's going to have to think and be like, hey, do I just want to do my time and get back out to my career? See, this is where when you're faced with these choices, this is where you really find out what time it is. Now, Lefty ain't new to this. He's true to this. He's done time before. He did 8-9 years in Pelican Bay and other prisons in California. So he knows the deal on doing time. And that's the hardest part about doing time is being able to do it. Okay, there's a lot of people, they just don't want to do time because they don't want to be away from their family or their old lady, or they don't want to be away from the money and the food and the whatever. You know, the zoos and wham-whams. But at the end of the day, you're going to do what the fuck it is you got to do. My mom's so dry and shit. I got cotton mouth from the alcohol last night. But trip out on this, right? So with Lefty, if he decides to go over there and kick it in the SPM yarda, then he's going to be in trouble. You know, his career will pretty much be over. None of these people that function with him or fuck with him will do that if they find that out. But ultimately, it's going to be up to him. Now, he's done time before. So, and that's the hardest part, like I say, doing time. But, you know, it's going to be a situation where it all depends on where they put him. He's kind of fucked, man. If they put him with these tangos and they're feeling some type of way, they're going to smash him every chance they get. If he goes to protective custody, well, his career's over and ain't no one fucking with him in California. He might as well stay over there in El Paso, right? If he goes to the place where SPM and he keeps getting off, it's going to be a hard time because he's going to be in the oil shit from place to place. I don't see nothing good coming of this. Now, hopefully he gets a good lawyer and he's able to get out, get a slap on the wrist, learn his lesson. But being caught with methamphetamine, man, that's a bad look. There's a lot of people already going in on him like, damn, Methy Gunplay, what happened, right? And when I seen that this morning, I woke up and I seen the article or I seen the newscast, I shook my head. I was like, fuck, bro. You know, what's wrong with you, man? You got a future ahead of you. You're starting to finally blow up and make some moves. I mean, there was actually people that really believe Lefty, now I want to call him Methy, right? that fucking Lefty can't get right was gonna actually be in the Super Bowl or win a Grammy. I mean, you're rubbing elbows with people that are #1 in the world. I mean, you're just doing big things. You're gonna throw it away over a 16th of dope, over a gram of meth. I just don't get some of the people's mindsets. You know, I understand Lefty is what he is and he is how he is, but fuck, bro, have some fucking common sense, right? It's an ugly situation. And, you know, again, people are going to be like, so what, homie? Why are you hating on the homie? Fuck him and fuck the dope that he was smoking. It's stupid, okay? It's stupid in the level that he's in right now to get caught with dope like that. You know, you have people around here, hold this, bro. I'm the golden ticket. His homie should have been like, nah, this is the golden ticket. We got to take that for him. But obviously everyone was out for themselves, you know? Now there's a lot of people, oh, he's going to beat it. They had no probable cause for search because it was just a seatbelt. I'm fucking hungover. A seatbelt ticket or whatever. The fact is this. They searched him. Once they searched that car, man, for whatever reasons that them guys gave him suspicion or whatever, it'll come out in the trial, right? If they go to trial, if he doesn't take a deal. And his homeboy got caught with cocaine on him. That gave him probable cause to search the rest of them. That's just the way it works, man. And, you know, the law works different in different states. Now, I'll say this. If Lefty does go somewhere else, I'd advise, man, like somewhere where he can't be, handle your business, Lefty. I'm not advising you to do violence, but I'm saying, you know what I'm saying? Handle your business quick because you might get put in a predicament where motherfuckers got that righty knife play, you know, and it might be all bad for you. You know, there's no guns for Lefty Gunplay in prison. And especially in Texas, you're out of state. Hey, bro, you're in no man's land. They don't like people. A lot of people don't like people that are flashy or try to act all cool from a different state. There's always been that underlying tension between Texas and California. Let's keep it real. You know, there's a lot of people, hey, I support you, homie. Nah, that's bullshit. But there's a little underlying hatred between the two. I don't know why, but I see it, especially in the rap industry, right? I was put in that situation that Lefty might be put in. You know, I'll tell you right now, if I went to the tier where SPM's at, I'm going to try to get him. If not, fucking whatever. Whoever I can get. But I ain't going to stay there. I don't give a fuck. You say, oh, Gunner, you're no good. It doesn't matter. I ain't staying there. I'm not staying there, bro. Period. Let me explain to you. When I was active, this is what happened. I got sent to Jamestown prison. And I left Tracy, right? And I was active, and I already knew when I got there, man, it's all bad. Like, I can't be here. I had a 72-hour curfew, meaning I had 72 hours to get the fuck out of there. So I went to the unit, seen some ex-Northerners or whatever target I wanted. Preferably ex-Northerner, right? That's because you get more, you know, people be like, hey, you got off. But whoever, you're on that yard with them, you might as well be them. That's the way I feel, right? And so they put me in the holding cell in R&R. And I remember we got off the bus and they're giving us a sack lunch. We got there around lunchtime. They gave us 2 sack lunches. I'm sitting next to a little dude from Delano. I'm not going to say his name, but he was from Delano, the city of Delano. And the first thing I asked him, I said, hey, are you active, bro? And he was like, he didn't answer me, but he was kind of like, hey, is there good homies on this yard? He kind of like wiggled around it. So I already knew. So I was like, well, what's your plan? He's like, I'm going to see what's up on this yard real quick. And, you know, when we get there, and I was already, he's trying to stay. He's trying to wiggle. So he said his name, and I started thinking. And I had the B&Ls, which is called the bad news list for the Northerners. It has every name, description of the person, offense, the reason they're on that list. It's pretty much a list. You're either in question or you're all bad, right? And my name's right there, big bright letters, Gunners Collective. They hate me. But anyways, allegedly, I remembered his name, seeing it. I just left Tracy, you know, where I was privileged to see the B&Ls. So I identified him, and I hit him in the face with an orange, right? You know what I mean? I was like, I got off on him. I didn't even have to hit the linea there. I got off on him, cracked him in the face with an orange, was on him, kicking him, stomping him. The cops came, snatched me up. Boom, they put me in the hole. I got endorsed to corporate prison, right? Corporate state. So this was the time when I was still active. I went all the way from a level 3 to a level 4 immediately. And that was that. So that's something that Lefty might be faced with, having to go to a place and just get off because, you know, he might have it bad in the Texas Department of Corrections. But, you know, there's a lot of people that are going to say, oh, Lefty ain't going to do no time over this, or he is going to do a lot of time. It's up for your interpretation. I mean, it says right there in the news thing, if you've seen it on my channel, I mean, the Vato got caught with meth. You know, I don't know how serious they take that in Texas, but from what I hear, they take drugs pretty serious, you know, so we'll see how it works out. Anyways, with that being said, I hope that you move smooth with a purpose. Let me know in the comments, what do you think's going on with Lefty? Do you think he's just a dope fiend, he deserves to be locked up? Or do you think they fucking didn't have no probable cause and he might just get out with a good lawyer? I don't know, man. You know, I don't know. Heavy's going to be the head that wears the crown, though. That's what I do know, man. Thank you guys for all the support. I appreciate it. And we're going to keep going. The gun.